I want you to picture a YouTube ad, an influencer in front of a beach house telling you how their Airbnb property generates $8,000 per month in passive income. What they don't mention, and what you need to hear, is that passive income is gross revenue, not net income. After the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, Airbnb's 3% host fee, cleaning costs, property management if you're not local, utilities, furnishing replacement, and vacancy, that $8,000 property might actually net $1,200 per month. Or lose money. Let's do the real math. The short-term rental market has matured, and that means increased competition in most markets. In 2020 and 2021, occupancy rates in many vacation markets hit 80 to 90%. By 2023 and 2024, new supply from the Airbnb gold rush had pushed occupancy down to 55 to 65% in most markets, with revenue per available night down 15 to 25% from peak. Understanding your specific market's current occupancy rate, not 2021's rate, is the foundation of any honest Airbnb investment analysis. AirDNA and Rabu are the two primary data services that provide market-level short-term rental analytics, average daily rate, occupancy, revenue by property type. They're not free, but before buying a short-term rental property, you need this data. Running the numbers on a specific address using the neighboring property's actual historical revenue as a comp is the difference between an informed investment and a guess. Airbnb's own host estimate calculator is notoriously optimistic and should not be used for financial planning. Let me build a real model. A two-bedroom property in a mid-tier vacation market. Purchase price $380,000, 25% down at $95,000. Mortgage at 7.5% on $285,000, $1,994 per month. Property taxes at 1.2%, $380 per month. Insurance, STR-specific insurance, runs $2,000 to $4,000 per year, $250 per month. Utilities, guests consume electricity, water, Wi-Fi, $300 per month. Total fixed costs before Airbnb fees and cleaning, $2,924 per month. Variable costs for a self-managed short-term rental. Airbnb host fee, 3% of gross revenue. Cleaning fee per turnover, $100 to $150, but that's what you charge guests. What you pay cleaners is often $120 to $200. If the property turns over 16 times per month at peak, that's $1,920 to $3,200 per month in cleaning costs alone. Property management if you're not local, and most people who buy vacation rentals are not local, runs 20 to 35% of gross revenue. Add consumables, toiletries, paper products, coffee, $50 to $100 per month. Occupancy and revenue model. AirDNA data shows a comparable two-bedroom in this hypothetical market, averaging 62% annual occupancy at $175 average nightly rate. Annual gross, $175, x 365 x 0.62, $39,603. Monthly gross, $3,300. Now subtract Airbnb 3% fee, $99, property management at 25%, $825, cleaning, $600, supplies, $75, monthly variable costs, $1,599. Total monthly costs, $2,924 fixed, plus $1,599 variable, $4,523. Monthly net cash flow, $3,300 minus $4,523, negative $1,223 per month. This model loses money, but it's not the whole picture. The mortgage is partially principal paydown at 7.5%. About $200 per month goes to principal in year one, increasing each year. The property may appreciate at historical 4% average real estate appreciation. $380,000 becomes $421,000 in 3 years. And there are significant tax deductions available for STR owners, depreciation, mortgage interest, operating expenses. On paper, many STRs that cash flow negative still make financial sense when total return is calculated, including equity and appreciation. The markets where short-term rental math actually works in 2024 are not the obvious ones. The saturated vacation markets, Gatlinburg, Scottsdale, Sedona, have more supply than demand. The STRs that cash flow positive today tend to be in markets with high occupancy, above 70%, limited new supply, and high ADR above $200. Think Lake Tahoe, specific Hawaiian islands, mountain towns near ski resorts with year-round demand. Unique or high amenity properties, hot tubs, game rooms, lake access, outperform generic properties even in good markets. Regulation is the risk nobody prices in. Cities from New York to Miami to Phoenix have enacted or are considering STR restrictions, requiring permits, limiting nights per year, banning non-owner occupied rentals entirely. Before you buy a short-term rental property, spend serious time researching local STR regulations and the political momentum around them. An investment that cash flows on Airbnb today can become illegal to Airbnb in 18 months with a single city council vote. This is not hypothetical. It's already happened in dozens of cities. Short-term rentals can absolutely be excellent investments, but only when you know the real numbers, not the gross revenue fantasy. Run the full model. Use real occupancy data. Factor in management costs if you're not local. Research the regulatory environment. And if the math doesn't work as a long-term rental, meaning the property would lose money if you had to switch from Airbnb to a standard tenant, that's a risk you're taking on. If you want to understand the full picture of owning rental property the traditional way, our video on landlord math covers exactly what residential real estate investing looks like from first principles.